Hey, I'm Wendy. This is my series, Love, Loss, and Lipstick. So back for another episode while I get ready for work. When I'm done getting ready, this week's story will end. This is my love story. And I move it over to my YouTube channel because Facebook will delete it. So recorded live and then scoot it over. So if you want to subscribe to my channel, Wendy Angus. We'll get started. Last week, we went on our 1-year anniversary trip and my husband almost got deported and ended up with a green card. So year 2, actually, it was pretty good. We settled into being married. I got somewhat normal again and things were good. We took another vacation. We rented a motor home and went up to Yosemite. It was really a great time. I had never really done motorhome camping. That's about as camping as I want to be. But we stopped in San Francisco on the way up. We took the coast all the way up, stopped along the way. Went to San Francisco, visited one of my best friends, my friend Beth, who, if you saw the episode where I went to Las Vegas with one of my besties, that was her. Went over to Yosemite, had a really great time. And then we drove all the way home afterwards. And so on that ride home, we had some really good talks, you know. We had a lot of time to talk. And we really, I'm going out of order again. Sometimes I forget what I'm doing when I start talking. The house that we were in, we really loved, but our plan was to be in that house for about 2 years and then sell it and try and move up a little bit in the world. So we were approaching that time. And so we were talking about if we wanted to sell our house and what was going to be next for us. That was the plan. And we did end up going house hunting, and we found a house that we really liked, put ours on the market, and everything was a go. We actually, even though we'd only been there for 2 years, we made a little bit of money on it, and we were really stepping up. This next house was kind of a big jump. I was a little bit worried about it, but Steve wasn't. And so we bought a house and we moved. I had some really good friends at the salon where I was working, and Steve got to know them as well. And they were our couple friends. We spent a lot of time together on the weekends. We would do, you know, we would go out and just have such a good time. One of the couples, they were not married, but they did get engaged, and they were planning a destination wedding to Hawaii, and we were invited. And that was going to be our first time going back to Hawaii since we got engaged, so we were really looking forward to it. It was going to be just a really small group. I think there was just me, Steve, and one other couple. And then the couple that was getting married, the 6 of us were going to go. So before that, some of the girls from the salon and some other friends, we decided to have a bachelorette party. We met up at one of the girls' homes to pregame, get ready for our big night out. One of the girls brought these little tattoos, like little hearts and things. And so we were having fun putting them in places that like our husbands would find them later and be surprised. Just girl fun. We were just having girl fun. And it was a great time. A lot of drinking and laughing and getting ready to go out to this club. And the guys were having the bachelor party the same night, and they were going to do their thing, and that was going to be fine. They would do their thing, we would do our thing, and that was it. Hold on one sec, what? Nope. sorry. We had a car come pick us up because nobody was going to be driving. That was for sure. And we went to this club and we were having a great time. Dancing, being silly, drinking, laughing. All was good. It was innocent. It was all good fun until somebody thought it would be a great idea to have the guys come and meet us there. And I don't know whose idea that was, but that was the worst idea ever. So all of our husbands and the fiance show up to our bachelorette party. And apparently I was having some trouble switching from bachelorette party mode into wife mode. And Steve was getting a little irritated with me. But I wasn't doing anything wrong, maybe. You know, dancing. I was still dancing with other guys. And apparently I was showing off my new tattoos to people, which probably was a little inappropriate because of where they were. But it didn't mean anything. We finished the party. It was time to go. Steve was mad. We went home, and like a good husband, he held my hair while I threw up, helped me change my clothes, put me to bed, and that was the end of it for the night. Not my, proudest moment, for sure. Woke up in the morning, felt awful, and Steve was not speaking to me. Clearly, extremely irritated. Didn't want to talk about it, didn't want to see me, didn't want to talk to me, which was okay because I was feeling awful. Sick all day, so hungover. And then we did decide to talk about it. And he said some things that, I just needed him to stop talking. I felt bad. I felt really bad. Of course, I apologized, and I felt really bad. But he still wasn't talking to me. Went to bed. That was Sunday, so went to bed Sunday night. Monday, I didn't work. He went to work. I was still so sick. And I thought, wow, this is quite the hangover. Didn't talk to him all day. He came home. Still not talking to me. Tuesday rolls around. And I couldn't even go to work. And I thought, I have never had a hangover that's lasted like 3 days. Oh my gosh. I had to call in sick to work. And so I thought, what if I have alcohol poisoning? So I scheduled an appointment with the doctor. I thought either I have alcohol poisoning or I have the flu. So I went to the doctor and I didn't have the flu. So on the way home, I stopped at the store and I bought a card. I thought I have got to make this right with my husband. So I bought a card. And I wonder if it's still here somewhere, maybe like in a box. He saved everything. The only problem is he saved everything and put everything, like in a box. And so there's boxes with junk and there's boxes with treasures and it's all mixed together. So I can't really throw anything like away. So I don't know. I may come across it sometime. But anyway, so I stopped and I got him a card. And I came home, and he came home from work and still mad at me. But anyway, so I gave him a card with an apology. And I said, I'm sorry. I said, I'm so sorry for the way I acted, and I know you're mad at me, and I said, I feel like The only thing I could tell you to have you forgive me is that I'm pregnant. And so, anyways, he did forgive me. Thank goodness. Otherwise, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I didn't have something like really big, I don't know how long he would have stayed mad at me. So I didn't know I was going to start crying. But, so there was that. So we had just moved, and I found out, that I was pregnant. And so why not start a new business? Why not just do everything at the same time? That's how we roll. So he decided that he was tired of, working for somebody else and making somebody else all the money. And he was such a hard worker that, if he was going to work that hard, he might as well be working for himself. That's kind of his thought, which was fine. But anyways, we had our trip to Hawaii, and we went to the airport to go on this trip. Of course, I was pregnant. I was newly pregnant. In fact, I told the doctor that I had this trip planned, and was there anything, I should or shouldn't do, and being the new first-time pregnant woman. And he said, to be honest, it is so early. Most people don't even know they're pregnant this early. So go on your vacation and just do whatever you want. And if you want to have some cocktails, have some cocktails. Because, he just felt like most people would be living their normal life at this point. I was like barely 4 weeks. In fact, he was surprised that it even really showed up. It was so early. But I wasn't going to do anything crazy after that night out. I thought I'm never going to drink again. But, so it was all good. So we go to the airport to go on our Hawaii trip, and it turns out that they oversold our flight. And so they were asking if anybody would want to give up their seats. And of course, there were 6 of us. And so they offered us if we would take a flight later. It was like 6 hours later, which by the time we got there, anyways, the day is pretty much done. So we thought, well, what's 6 more hours? So we agreed. They said they would treat us to lunch at the restaurant. We were at LAX. And so if you've seen on TV or if you've been there at LAX, there's a kind of a round looking structure. It has a restaurant kind of up at the top. So we were going to go there for lunch for 6 hours with my party friends. So needless to say, we ate, and they started the vacation. They started drinking. I was not drinking. And it was a long 6 hours, but we got on the plane and headed to Hawaii. So this is something, my kids were horrified, mortified. I don't know what the right word is. But you know what? I've been telling everything. Back in those days, when you were on a plane, things were a lot different than they are now, obviously. And more than one person could go to the bathroom at the same time. So my husband, of course, having started the vacation and had been drinking, and they all continued drinking on the plane, he had the bright idea that we should join the Mile High Club. And I was like, okay, pregnant. Let's go for it. So, like I said, my kids were like, oh my gosh, Mom. I don't know. I think they should have been proud of us. But that was how the trip started. It was all good. Went to Hawaii. We had a great time. They're good friends, and they're actually still friends, and they're still married too. Both couples that we went with. So that was great. And then came home, and Steve was starting his own business, production company. And I'm afraid if I get too far into another story, I'm going to run out of time right in the middle. So anyway, so I think I might break my little rule here. I'm not exactly done, but I think I might stop here and just finish. So if there is anything that you ever see me use or that you have questions about, makeup, skincare, feel free to ask. And I'm just gonna finish my brows, put on some lips, and spray my setting spray. So that was probably a little more information than what you might have thought you were gonna get today. So don't judge me. And I'm gonna finish up here and go to work. So you guys all have a great day. Bye.